All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my first real official YouTube video because I have other ones out there like the Transformers gameplay and BioShock and all that, but I want to try to make actual videos and so I'm gonna start out with a tier maker because I was gonna do like a iceberg chart, but that's taking a bit longer than I expected. I'll go more into detail later on. So yeah. So I'm making a tier maker. And with a tier maker, what they basically are is you rank characters or items or whatever from best to worst or whatever you want to rank them with. So Rodimus Plaque would be the highest of the high, S tier. And then a Getaway Star is the lowest tier, the worst tier. Basically, and I can go through what they are pretty much. A Rodimus Plaque is basically this one item that was in the series, which is might as well tell you what I'm doing, which I'm sure you could read from the title, but just in case, I'm gonna be doing one on the Lost Light crew, because I like the More Than Meets the Eye series, and also just the Lost Light crew in general. And I know a little bit about the background characters, but for the most part I know a little bit about them, but there are a bunch of characters that I love and know a lot about, so I'm obviously gonna add them to the list. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the Rodimus Plaque and all that stuff. The Rodimus Plaque, because in the series there's these things called Rodimus stars. And basically what they are these little things that Rodimus, which is the leader of the Lost Light, would give out to his guys and stuff, or anyone on the ship that did a good thing, or it's basically the stars you give to a preschooler. They're kind of like that, but they're these little gold plaques that have his face on them. Well, not plaques, but little pins, I guess, or in this case, well, stars. But yeah, basically, the highest tier for a Rodimus item would be the Rodimus plaques, which are these big ass, excuse my French, big shield things that are the size, half the size of them, basically. Half the size of the Transformers, not half the size of the stars, but yeah. So it's a gold plaque, so I put that as the S tier. A tier is Megatron star, which Megatron, spoiler alert, became an Autobot, and I'm not gonna go fully into the whole history of the Lost Light and all that stuff. I highly recommend reading it. And I'm gonna try to be as little spoilers as possible throughout this. But yeah, basically he became an Autobot, and he earned a star through what he's done and stuff. And he's kept it see, it's hard to go into spoilers. It's hard not to go into spoilers when talking about this, but basically it's a really important item to him and to a lot of the main crew. So yeah. There's that, and there's also the Rodimus Star, which, trust me, I'm gonna make much better videos than this, because this is like already turning into like a dumpster fire. But yeah, the Rodimus Star is basically the things that I told you about, which are like the little not icons, but like pins, for doing a good job. And then we have the Whirl Star, which basically is, there's a character named Whirl who's a lot like Deadpool, if to like simplify it, which is this guy right here. I'm not gonna go into like his whole backstory, but yeah. And he's like a troublemaker, and he basically just drew like a mustache on his Rodimus Star, and it was like called like the Whirl Star by like the fans and everything. So yeah, that was that is the C tier. And then we have the D tier, which is the Getaway Star. And Getaway is this character right here. I wish I could do like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to do way better videos. But basically, he is sort of like the antagonist later on. But basically, yeah, it's hard to like, again, it's hard to not go into spoilers with this stuff. But yeah, he's basically the antagonist, and he makes his own stars for his own crew. So yeah, he made Getaway Stars. So I made that the lowest tier because no one wants one. But yeah, so let's begin. Alright, and first up we have Anode, which I hope I like say all their names correctly, but I'm sure I'm gonna butcher like half of them. And basically she is like she's like an Indiana Jones type character, I would say. And what's special about her and her girlfriend, which I'll show her later, is they were not born, but basically they are trans, which is like awesome like representation in the series. So I figured like that's actually pretty cool and stuff. And I just love like her attitude as well. But she's not my favorite character of all time, so I'll give her like the Megatron Star. Alright. And yeah, that's a pretty good place for her. And then we have Brainstorm, which is my all-time favorite character from the series. He's basically a scientist, like inventor type character, and basically he's just a nut, honestly, and I love him. So I'm definitely giving him like the Rodimus plaque, because he's an amazing character in the series, and he has a whole arc that like I just highly recommend reading the series so you can understand what I'm barely saying. And then we have Chrome Dome, which his real name is Tumblr, but himself and his like friends and everyone just call him Chrome Dome. And he's basically, he used to be a like a police officer basically that worked with Prowl until he got fed up with that. And basically him, and he's like connected like a lot to his boyfriend, Rewind, which is this character. And basically they have a whole like romance, and just they're adorable, but it's like also depressing what they have to go through like with each other. But yeah, it's yeah. See, I'm gonna continue to say this. Um, but he like not he. I am gonna like try to be as spoiler free as possible throughout like this tier list, because I want to make sure like people are like reading it and like actually learn about it, because it's an amazing series that sadly ended. But yeah, everything must come to an end at eventually. So yeah, Chrome Dome. I'll give him the Rodimus star. And basically who I'm going through first, and the reason why I have so much knowledge on these characters, is because they're like the main characters for the series. Like, I'm sure there's other ones that are like a little beneath them, but these are like the main ones that like you follow their story the most. So yeah. And next is Cyclonus, which is that guy. And basically he's not exactly like his G1 self. He's like more emo, if I'm gonna be honest. But he's basically like this big old like edgy boy that has like a crush on the softest character in the series, which is Tailgate. And they actually end up getting together, and it's, again, most of the romances in this series end up having some depression with it. This whole series is gonna like mess with you, but yeah. And honestly, I love him, and just yeah. So I'm gonna actually add him to the Rodimus plaque. Oh right, and Drift. He's definitely not like his racist character in the Michael Bay films in the series. He's still a ninja, and is like, well, he's not a ninja exactly. He definitely uses like a sword, and is more like into how do I say it? Like his culture and his like traditions and everything. I would say he's a ninja though, to be honest. Yeah. Or like a samurai or a character like that. And basically he has a love triangle between Rodimus and Ratchet. And I'm not gonna go into like full depth on the character, but yeah, I love him, but he's not exactly my favorite character of all time. So I'm gonna give him like, I'd say Rodimus star, honestly. Because he's a great character, don't get me wrong. Like, he's definitely a main character, but he's just not one of my all-time favorites. All right. So next up we have is First Aid, which I wouldn't really classify him as a main character, but he kinda is a main character. So do with that what you will, I guess. He's basically like the medic for the Lost Light. Well, one of many medics. And basically he just is, yeah. They all definitely need therapy. I'm gonna just say that. And I love his character design, but I'm not like the biggest like fan of him. But I mean, he's definitely not like a Whirl Star character. So yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus star. All right, and now we're going over to Getaway, which I talked about like a pretty good amount earlier, and he's just a total dick. That's honestly all I'm gonna say about him. So yeah, he's definitely getting the Getaway star. And now we have Rodimus, which I've talked about like a bunch as well, and he's basically just he's a chill guy. He's completely full of himself though. I don't get me wrong with that, but he's at least trying his best to like be a leader. And honestly, I loved him since like G1, even though he gets so much like shit for what's like happened. But yeah. So I'm definitely gonna add this guy to the Rodimus plaque. Alright. And Lug. She is the girlfriend to Anode. And basically she's like Anode's partner in crime, quote unquote. They're like always together. And yeah, basically the same thing as her girlfriend. She is also trans, which is awesome. But she's like not as like not as favorable, like I don't even know if that's a word, but basically yeah, she's not like my all-time like favorite. And she's definitely like the lesser of the two in my opinion, but she's still like pretty cool too, so I'm not adding her like the world star or like a getaway star. All right, and Megatron. I'm sure you must know Megatron if you know Transformers at all. The big bad of the series, but in this series, he actually went to trial for his crimes, and basically, as punishment, he had to be a part of the Lost Light crew, which is actually a punishment if you really think about it, because they're all idiots. So it's a bunch of Autobots that are like having to like deal with the creator of the Decepticons, honestly. So you can definitely tell like there's gonna be tension and a lot of like resentment toward him. But I gotta admit, I still love him, and honestly, like seeing him as an Autobot was like awesome, in my opinion, because you would never have expected it. It's kind of like when Lex Luthor from the DC Comics was like turned himself into like Superman, basically. With his own armor and joined like the Justice League. It reminds me of that, like the villain teaming up with the heroes, like not permanently, but yeah. So basically he's just like a grumpy old man on the ship. And yeah, I will definitely add him to Rodimus plaque. All right. And now we have Ultra Magnus, but obviously he doesn't look like Ultra Magnus in the picture, in the microscopic picture that you can barely see probably. And the reason why is because the person underneath, or the transformer underneath the Ultra Magnus armor is actually Minimus Ambus, which he's basically like the newest person to don the Ultra Magnus armor. And basically in the series, like there were more than one Ultra Magnus, but each like had their turn to don the armor. And I'm not really gonna go fully depth into it, but basically he's a rule stickler, I believe that's what it's called. But basically he'll like he follows the rules to a T and wants to make sure that you all follow, like everyone on the ship follows the rules. Oh, he's like a dad basically. And I enjoy his character, but like he's not my favorite of all time, but he's definitely up there. So I'll add him actually to Megatron Star. All right. And then we have Nautica, which she's just amazing. I feel bad for all of them, honestly, but she definitely had to deal with some like crap, and she used to be like this super bubbly character, but once like a lot of stuff in the series happened, she had to toughen up and become like a character that's not so bubbly and cheery, I guess. But I definitely love her. She's one of my favorite characters, and yeah, I'm definitely adding her to the Rodimus plaque. Alright, and Nightbeat. He's basically like a detective that's always wanting. He's like Batman, if not Batman. The Question. Honestly, he loves like solving mysteries and is just he's a detective basically, and he definitely is good at it. Well, I wouldn't say definitely, but I'd trust him to solve like a mystery with me. He's not one of my favorite characters, but he's definitely not like a bad character, so I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Alright, Ratchet. In this series, he's like a mix between animated Ratchet, to me personally. Animated Ratchet and his like G1. And basically who Ratchet is he's like one of the oldest like medics. Well, not one of the oldest, but he's a pretty old medic that served for like a while. He was a main character in like a lot of Transformers series, honestly. So I'm sure you've heard of him or at least seen him in the movies. But yeah, he basically is he decided to join like the Lost Light, and I'll let you like read why he did that and all this other stuff. But yeah, he's a pretty cool character, but he's never been one of my favorite characters, but he's an okay character. So yeah. Alright, so next we have Rewind, which is he's definitely got a lot of like baggage with him. There's a lot of stuff that'll be like spoiler territory, but all you need to know is him and Chrome Dome have like a really special relationship, and basically a lot of stuff happens, and there's time stuff and warping stuff, and yeah. He's a historian that loves to record things because that's also why his name's Rewind. And he has like this little like camera on the side of his like head that you can't really see here, but it's like that, I believe. But yeah, he basically loves to like record things, and yeah. I'm gonna put him with Rodimus Star as well, because he's not my favorite, but he's definitely a chill character. Alright, and Rung, which is one of my friend's like all-time favorite characters in the like world. He's basically the therapist for the Lost Light, which is awesome that they have a therapist, and basically he's definitely like a underdog character, where he looks pretty boring and simple, but the more you like get to know about him, the more he's becomes like way more interesting. He's not one of my, again, he's also not one of my all-time favorite characters, so I'm gonna put him with Rodimus Star. All right. And next we have the Skids. I am starting to like run out of like time, but to keep it, I'm gonna start like adding like them as more like simple things. Basically his whole character revolves around amnesia and learning his like past. And yeah, he's a pretty cool character, but again, not one of my favorites, so he's going there. All right. Swerve. Basically a bartender who talks way too much. Like, him and Deadpool would get along very well. All right. So, and he is actually one of my favorite characters, so I'm gonna add him to Megatron Star. All right, Tailgate. Just an adorable ball of fluff that's actually one of the oldest members on the Lost Light. He's always having to look out for, well, they look out for each other. I shouldn't say he's always having to look out for him, but yeah, he's the boyfriend to Cyclonus. And he's actually one of my favorites as well, but I'll add him actually to Rodimus Plaque. All right. And Velocity. I love this girl. She's basically like one of the new medics on the Lost Light, and she's best friends with like Nautica, and yeah, pretty much that's about it for her. Well, that I want to say because I want to keep it like simple, but yeah, I will add her to Rodimus Plaque. All right, Whirl. Saying that he's just a Deadpool copycat would be wrong because he definitely has like a backstory and he's just full of anger, but also just enjoys to bully the shit out of everyone because basically he's making his problem everyone's problem. So yeah, I'm gonna add this asshole to Rodimus Plaque. Alright, now we're getting into the characters that are not as known for me, but yeah, and these guys from here to here are actually not exactly members of the Lost Light, so I'm technically cheating right now, but they do become members for a short time at the very end of their of the series run, and basically they're just Decepticons who suck at being Decepticons. So yeah, alright, so we have Crankcase, and basically his issue is half of his head's missing, and he's a crank. So yeah, and he will go right in Rodimus Star. Because he's pretty cool, but he's not one of my favorites. And then there's Fulcrum, which he's basically he's prone to accidents, I'd say. And he has to put up with a lot of like the other members. They have to put up with everyone's crap, honestly, like the scavengers. So yeah, he's not one of my favorites, but yeah, I'm gonna add him to Whirl Star because I mean he's all right, but he's not one of my favorites. All right, and Grimlock, and I'm sure everyone must know a little bit about Grimlock. He's the one that transforms into a T-Rex and is an idiot. But yeah, basically he's got a whole story that I highly recommend like checking out. So yeah, they end up like finding him, and they not train him, but like get him to remember more than just being like a idiot. Basically they help him recover after some like incidents that have happened. So yeah, Grimlock is definitely going to Megatron Star. I was gonna add him to Rodimus Black, but he's not like one of my all-time favorites. All right, and actually I'm gonna change this up a little bit and put Tailgate down here. Just because the more that I think about it, the more he's awesome, but not the coolest character ever. Same with his boyfriend. So yeah. All right. So who's next? Okay. His name is escaping me right now. All right. His name is, I want to say Krok. Krok. And basically he's the leader of the team, pretty much. All right. And I will add him to Rodimus Star. Oh, right. I feel like I'm actually forgetting a character in the Scavengers. I should know them by now because I love them, but yeah. Hopefully I'm not. But yeah, alright. So my favorite character from the Scavengers is Misfire, which, based on his name, he's supposed to be like a sharpshooter, but he sucks like ass at shooting. He will completely miss all of his shots. But he also is the one who's like helped out Grimlock the most. And yeah, so I will add this idiot to Megatron Star. Actually, no. Rodimus Black, actually. Plus, he also talks as much as Swerve does, so they end up getting along like very well in the series. Alright, and Nickel, which she actually is the most competent out of everyone on the Scavengers. And pretty much she actually wasn't a original member of the Scavengers. She was actually the caretaker, or like the Alfred type of this team called the Decepticon Justice Division, which are like the most evil of Decepticons, I would say. But yeah, stuff happens and she ends up joining the Scavengers reluctantly, but yeah. And she will go in Rodimus Black because I just love her, and she's also really small too, so it's awesome. All right, and next we have, I want to say his name is Spinster. I should have like did notes or something on these characters, but yeah. We're doing it live. All right. Yeah, so Spinster, I would say, I don't know much about him, but he like Crankcase, can get pissed off real quickly, and I believe he's also a medic as well. But yeah, sadly I don't know much about him, but I will add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And next off we have, and like, that was the final member of the, well, final, see, I'm screw it, final living member of the Scavengers. But now we're getting into like the background characters of the background characters. Well, not background characters of the background characters, but, well, yes and no, because like, Lost Light and More Than Meets the Eye basically had the characters that not many people knew about, and they put like the characters that, again, not many people knew about, and put them to the forefront as like the main characters. Like, that's why there's no Optimus or Bumblebee in that series, but there's like the closest you get to like a main character would be Ratchet. But other than that, there's really just the background characters. But yeah, so we're gonna do the background characters of the background characters, I guess. And first off is Ambulon. I don't know much about most of these guys. But basically the most like important thing about him is he gets cut in half. So yeah. So since I don't know much about him, I'm definitely adding him to like World Star, cause yeah. Alright, and next off we have Ammo, which I know jack shit about. So he will go here. I'm definitely gonna do like an updated video of this, and I'm definitely gonna have more knowledge on these characters, cause yeah. And then next we have is Animus, which, based on his character appearance, he looks like he would transform into like some type of animal, because his like chest is the face of like a animal. And that's literally all I know about him. So yeah. Add him there. And Aquabat. I know pretty much nothing about him either, except Aquabat's also the name of a band. And that has nothing to do with him. But he also has pretty cool wings, so there's that. So yeah. Add him there. And then there is Aquafend. Again, I know nothing about him, but he does have pretty cool colors. But yeah. Alright. And sometimes you're gonna see like just like a word bubble, because there's like not even pictures of the characters. And even when there's like no mention of them or like really anything really, they'll be this picture, which is like basically like character not found. But yeah, basically he was only important for like one comic, and he wasn't even that important. He was just mentioned, honestly. And his name is Aquastar. So yeah. Basically, since there's nothing about him, I'll add him to Getaway Star. Alright, and Atomizer. I don't know much about him. I know that he was basically the right-hand man to Getaway. And he also like used a bow and arrow, so I thought that was pretty cool, and I liked his colors. So I know about him, but I'm definitely adding him to the Getaway Star because of what he's done along with Getaway. So yeah. Alright. And next is Backstreet. I know nothing about him. So yeah, um, there we go. All right. And next we have Blades, which is he's one of the aerial bots. And that's honestly all I know about him, really. So yeah. All right. And Blaster. This is a character that I do know about. There are going to be a few characters that I do know about here and there. Basically he's like the Autobot version of Soundwave. Um, like he helps out with like communications and radios and all that stuff. He's a pretty chill dude and honestly one of my favorite characters in the series. Well, in Transformers, I mean. So yeah, he's actually gonna go up here. So Rodimus Black. Alright. And next we have Blue Streak, which I don't know much, if yeah, much about him. I know he was also in G1, but other than that, I really don't know much about him. So yeah. Alright. And Bob. He's literally just a Insecticon that is a pet to a character named Sunstreaker, and he's adorable. So I'm actually gonna add him to Rodimus Star because I don't know much about him, but I know that he's adorable. All right. Next off, we have. I mean, and plus his name's Bob, so that's yeah. All right. We have, and I'm gonna butcher this name. I think Borer, Borer, and I know nothing about him. So he's going in here. All right. And then next we have Boss, and his name's Boss. Yeah, that's. I don't really know much about him either. Damn. I'm really sucking at this. But yeah. So add him there. Alright. And next we have Brawn, which basically he's like. He's a small character, but he's definitely like powerful with like his strength, and he was one of the wreckers as well. He was also in G1 and is a pretty interesting character, but he's not one of my favorites, but I definitely know more about him than the other characters. Well, not all the other characters, but some of the other characters, and yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Alright, now we have Broadside, and basically he's a big guy that his like, I don't really know much about him, but I do like that the like simplistic look of his like robot mode. But other than that, really, I don't know much about him, so yeah. Alright. And next we have Clicker, which he comes from a parallel universe or parallel timeline. I forget if it's a universe or a timeline or if there's even a difference really. And basically he's part of like a resistance team. He's not one of my favorite characters, but I do know about him, so I will add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And we have a little bit more to, well, not a little bit more, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows to go. Alright. So Cosmo, basically, I don't know a lot about him either, but I do know that he was in G1 and he's actually one of, like, I'm interested in his character. Plus, I love the fact that he turns into a UFO, so that's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And I said Cosmo, but it's Cosmos, like the cosmos. Alright, and Crossblades. No, jack shit about him. Star. Alright. And then we have Crosscut, and I don't know much about him in this series, but I do know about him in the updated series, and he's basically a person who works with Nautica for like relations on like xeno relations to like basically connect with other like alien species to like help out each other. He also had like a big crush on Nautica, but was rejected by her. So yeah, I mean he's all right, but I'm at Rodimus Star because I know a bit about him. All right, and Crosshairs. I know jack shit about him. Star. And another World Star character, I'm automatically just adding him there because I know nothing about Deftwing. And yeah, I can't really tell you much about him because I don't know much about him. Alright, and next we have Dipstick, which basically he's a mess, but he means well. And I love his name, so yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus Star because he's trying. All right, and yeah, he's definitely a mess because he tends to lose his body parts. All right, and next off we have Dogfight, which his head's missing here. Yay! So we just get to see his crotch. That's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know much about him either, so that's going to World Star. Alright, and next we have Double Cross, which all I really know about him is he has dragons for hands, which is pretty badass, so I'm adding him to Rodimus Star. Alright, next we have Double Tap, and yeah, he doesn't survive like at all, so yeah, I'll add him to Getaway Star because yeah, he's just dead. All right, next we have is Fervor, and I know nothing about him, so yeah. Well, actually, I think I know a little. I believe he was a security personnel on the Lost Light, but other than that, I don't know much about him. So yeah, Pearl Star. Alright, and next we have Fizzle, which I don't know much about him either, but he loves saying that he was part of the Lost Light, which honestly, if I was part of the Lost Light, I'd love saying that too. But yeah, that's literally all I know about him. Alright. And next we have Flex, which I literally don't know anything about him either, and I couldn't even find a picture of him facing forward, so we just have the back of him. So yeah. If I can't even find like a full picture of him, then that's going there. Alright, and Fortress Maximus, which, depending on what series you read, his size varies, but in More Than Meets the Eye and The Lost Light, he's a big guy, but he's not a city like G1, but he's basically the size of Ultra Magnus in the series, and he's basically like he reminds me of like a Judge Dredd character. Like he's not a police officer, but he definitely takes the law seriously, and will hunt you down if you're not taking it seriously. So yeah, plus I love his name, so I'm gonna add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. Now we have Freud, which he's basically like another therapist, but he's definitely not. You don't want him as your therapist because he's like an Arkham Asylum therapist, if that makes sense. Like, he's corrupt. So yeah, he's definite. Like, I like him, but he's evil, so I'm adding him with Getaway. Alright. And next we have Gears, which I know him from G1 a little bit, but I barely know him in like anything else. So yeah, he's going in World Star. And so isn't Grapple, which, I mean, I know a little bit about these characters that I'm saying I don't know much about, but that would go into spoiler territory because it's a whole big thing that happens in the series, but I don't want to like spoil what happens. It involves Getaway and Rodimus and Megatron. That's all I'm gonna really like say about that. Alright, and next we have is Groove, which I believe is an aerial bot, but I don't know really. So yeah, I'm adding him there because I really don't know much about him. Well, then that would... Nah. Well... See, if I add him there, then I have to take out a lot of characters from here, and I'm gonna add a lot of characters into here. I'm gonna add him here, because there's the characters that I really don't know anything about in here, but yeah. Alright. So next off, we have Grotesque, which basically I don't really know much about either. Sorry to say, but yeah. Alright. And next we have Eyebrow, which, again, a character that I don't know much about, so yeah. Alright. And next we have Hoist, which I know a bit about him. Like, he basically is he's into construction. He's one of the Autobot people who like help out with construction and just helping out with that kind of stuff. And he was one of the only Autobots or members of the Lost Light to get a Rodimus plaque. So that's pretty awesome. This big old gold thing is a Rodimus plaque. But I don't know much about him, sadly. So even though he's holding a Rodimus plaque, I'm still gonna have to add him to World Star, because I only know that he's into construction and stuff. So yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I'll add him to Rodimus Star because of the fact that he has one of those, so he gets a bump up. Alright. Next off, we have... Oh boy. We should be having Hound right now, but we have these two. Which means I probably have said a bunch of characters' names that aren't accurate to who they are. Yikes. Alright. Well, Hound I know, from G1 and a bit of like through the series. He's like an animal lover, and he would rather have peace than any kind of fighting, and he's honestly just a wholesome character. And I will add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And since I don't really know these characters, I'm just gonna done with. Alright. And Hotspot. Oof. Well, this character is definitely not Hotspot. His name is Huffer. And I believe that these characters, I believe this is Hotspot. I am probably wrong, but I believe this is Hotspot and this is Hosehead. But yeah, alright, Huffer. All I know about him is he looks like another character that I know more about, which is Pipes. I know that he definitely gets like messed up a bit. But yeah, so I mean, I know more about him than most. Like, not most people, but most of the characters on here. But yeah, he'll still go into World Star. Alright. And next we have Hyperion, which is nothing like the Marvel character, because he is immediately killed off in the first few issues. So yeah, I'm gonna bump you right there. Alright. And Inferno is next, which basically all I remember is he turns into a fire truck, which is pretty cool. So I'm adding him here. Just because of the fact that I like what he transforms into. Fire truck. Alright, and Jackpot is next. And basically, he's a very lucky character, even though he'll get himself into like a lot of trouble. And like his name, yeah. So Jackpot will go here. And next we have is Kindle, which I believe, yeah, this is Kindle. I don't know anything about him, so yeah, you're right there. We're actually right there. Well, actually, you know what? I am gonna do what I said I wasn't gonna do, which is add all the characters that I don't really know like anything about down here. Alright. Like, I know that he has like some animal form, but other than that, yeah. Here we go. Okay. And next we have is Lancet. And he, like him, he's a security guard on the Lost Light. So I will add him here, because I know a little bit about him. Alright. And next we have I didn't even say Joyride. Oof. Well, I don't really know of who's Joyride. Oof. Alright. And okay. Just give me one quick second. Ah, Joyride's a character I don't have pictures of. Alright. And yeah, he's going down here because I don't have anything of him. Alright. And yeah. Kindle, I believe, is actually this guy. So I think I said that wrong. Yeah, that's Kindle. So I got his name wrong, so that was beautiful. But yeah. Alright. And okay. So who is Lancet? Oh, this is going beautifully. Alright. So yeah, that's Kindle. And this blurb right here is the only mention of Lancet. So yeah. Alright, and Landmine, which is this guy. I don't know much about, so yeah. Alright. And Lockstock, don't know him. Alright. And next up, we have Mainframe, which he's basically, I think we finally have someone who I actually kind of know about, which he's like one of the pilots of the Lost Light, and basically he deals with like the electronics and stuff as well. He's a computer guy that works well with like taking care of the ship and computers. So yeah, Mainframe, even though you can't see his head. Alright, and Mirage. Finally another character that I actually know about. And I actually do like his character because basically he has like a whole weird backstory that's like convoluted and stuff, but for the purposes of this, he's basically like he's not a spy, but he's a master of illusions. He can project he can project a form onto himself that will look like a different person or like a different transformer, and basically he's good with like imagery and stuff like that. He can also, I believe, turn invisible. Oh yeah. Also, he can do the... So I'm confused. Maybe he can only turn... I don't think he can only turn invisible. But I know that he also can do like projections and stuff with like his stuff. But I 100% am sure he can turn invisible though. Alright. And back to characters I don't know. So or I believe was like when the ship did like something, he ended up getting stuck, like phased through the wall, and once it like stopped being like phasable or whatever, he ended up dying because he was stuck in the wall. So yeah. Alright, Perceptor. He is another character that I actually know like a pretty good amount about. He's a scientist that works alongside like Brainstorm. Him and Brainstorm have a little flirt thing going on. It's mostly Brainstorm flirting with him. But basically they put up with each other and are like scientists that work with each other. He's also a very skilled sniper and used to be one of the wreckers. So I'm gonna actually add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And another character that I don't know much about. I think the only like thing that we've ever seen of him is that he's dead. And his name is Photon. So yeah. I'm gonna actually add him because I know that all we know about him is that he dies. Alright, and next off we have Pincer. And I know nothing about him, so yeah, I'm gonna add him down here. Alright. And Pipes. Basically, he is as unlucky as you can possibly get. He's been chewed up, destroyed, everything, and he also like tried to like flirt with Drift, and Drift like rejected him like immediately, and yeah, that's the poor guy. He deserves to like a win, so I'm gonna just add him up here. This Rodimus Star, just because he deserves it, man. Alright. Next is Point Blank, and I don't know anything about him, so he goes down here. Alright. And Polaris. Basically the same thing that happens to Hyperion happens to him. He dies. So yeah. Alright. And now we have Power Flash, a character that I don't know anything about either. So, wha-bam. Now we have 3 rows to go. Alright. Next we have actually a character that I kind of know about. Powerglide. Basically, I don't know a lot about him, but I do remember from the G1 series that like he had like a New York accent, or one of those kind of accents, you know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah. But in this series he's like actually a tall, lanky boy. But he's a pretty chill character in the series, I'd say, but we don't see him a lot. But what we do see of him is pretty cool. So yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Alright, next is Rad, and all I know about him is he looks cool and his name is Rad. I mean, literally, like, I think his name is cool, like his name is Rad. No pun intended. So I'll add him to World Star just because of those things. Alright. Next off, we have Rail Spike, and all that we see about him is he's in a footnote or not a footnote, but like he's basically in the back of the book. We don't even see him really, so yeah. So, getaway star. Alright, and now we have Ravage, which I actually like in this series. He's basically like a... I'm sure you... Well, based on what you know from the series, he's been in, for the majority, he's just a cat to most, but in this series he's able to talk and is actually like a spy that like was sent by Soundwave to keep an eye on Megatron and like actually to find out if he was actually becoming an Autobot or if this was just some game to him and he was gonna like attack the Autobots and go back to being the leader of Decepticons, but he ends up like actually agreeing with what happened with like Megatron. So yeah, he gets like a pretty good amount of character development that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, I'm adding him to Megatron Star. Or not Megatron Star, but Rodimus Star. Alright. Next we have is Red Alert, and I don't know much about him, but I do know that like he was a security officer on the Lost Light, and he also is like prone to having mental breakdowns, so honestly that's a mood. So I will add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. Next up we have is Rapungus. I was about to say, that's definitely not Riptide. I know Riptide. And yeah, Rapungus is basically this insect. He's not an Insecticon, but he turns into like an odd, like, insect thing. And all I know about him is a toy that came out like a long time ago before I was even born. That would, like, the whole gimmick for his figure was to make sparks. Yeah. That's legitimately all I know about him. So, but he does look cool, so I will give him props for that. Alright. Next we have Riptide, which basically he's kind of a coward, but he also means well, and I also like his character because he looks like an aquatic character, and I like that. He also transforms into a boat, so that makes sense. So yeah, I'm actually gonna add him to Rodimus Star just because of like what I know about him and also his like look. Alright, speaking about pretty cool characters, we have Roller up next, and basically who Roller is pretty much just, he's a chill guy, but I don't know much about him, to be honest, but I do know that like he loves to drink juice boxes, like Energon juice boxes. That's literally all I really know about him. So yeah, I'll add him to World Star. Alright, and Rollout I know practically nothing about. So yeah, add him there. Next we have Rook, which basically, he's like scared easily, and he's definitely a good, like, kind-hearted guy, but he just, yeah, he's a mess. Like pretty much everyone here. So yeah, I'll add him to World Star. Alright. Next is a character that I don't even know and doesn't even have art. Schema. I don't believe I'm pronouncing that name right. Schema. And he'll go here. The Getaway Star. Alright. And another character that's just dead is Shock. And basically he got his spark ripped out. That's why there's a big old hole. But yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're on to the final 2 rows. All right. Next we have is Siren, which basically his whole thing is he's very, very, very loud. And it's not really his fault, it's just his voice box just doesn't work properly. And yeah, I'm sure I'm getting a lot of information wrong. And please, like, definitely tell me what I've gotten wrong and all that. And also what I can just work on in general in like videos. So yeah, basically he's just a very loud guy. So yeah, go ahead, Siren here. Alright, another character that I don't know about is gonna be Skater. He was a skater boy. I said see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for me. There we go. Alright, and Sky High. All I know about this character is his name sounds cool and it reminds me of the movie Sky High. Other than that, I don't know anything about him. So yeah. Alright. So now we have Slam Dance, which I don't believe that's Slam Dance, but let me just look it up real quick. Huh, that is Slam Dance. Alright. Well, yeah. Slam Dance basically is like a news reporter Autobot. And basically he just reports on what's going on and stuff. So yeah, he's a pretty cool character from what I've learned about him, but it's not much that I've learned about him. But yeah, so I'll add him here. Alright. And next up, we have Slapdash, which I know nothing about, so I'm gonna slapdash him to here. Alright, next up we have Smokescreen, which I have to admit I don't know much about him either, but I do know like from Transformers Prime that he's like basically a Rodimus-ish character, and his hollow form is actually like this like cute girl. Like 80s like aesthetic girl. But other than that, I don't really know much about him from the series. So yeah, I'll add him to Worldstar. Alright. And Spoke, I thought was just them saying Spoke, but it's actually a character. That's all I know about them. So, boom. Alright. Now next, we have Sprocket, which I can't say much about him because I don't know much about him. So yeah. Alright, Starsaber. Yeah. Well, basically this guy's a religious nut that thinks he's like the hand of God, and basically he's just a mess and a half. I think this series is like the most like different he's ever been from like any other series, because in most other series he's like a leader type character that's like up there with Optimus and stuff, but yeah, in this series he's just a nut. But I do like his character, even though he is like just this religious nutcase. So I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And now we have Steeljaw, which is one of Blaster's minicons, or I don't remember exactly what they're called in the series, but yeah. He's like the equivalent to Ravage, but we don't really see him talk or anything, but yeah. But he's still a pretty cool character in my opinion, so I'm gonna add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. And next up, we have Strafe, which I don't know much about besides like he's an aerial bot, I believe. So yeah. Add him. Actually, I'll add him here. Alright, and next is Streetwise, which he's basically like a you know those like PSA commercials from the like 90s, which is like kids don't do drugs and stuff like that. He's basically like that. So yeah, I'll add him here. Honestly, I'll add this guy as well here. Alright. Now we have Sunder, which, God, he is creepy looking. He works with Freud and is basically like his bodyguard, kind of, ex-patient, I would say they have like some romantic tension between each other. But yeah, he's definitely not someone you want to mate, like especially at 3 a.m. He is just disturbing, but I do like him though. So I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Well, actually, nah. I'm adding him here because of like how evil he is. Alright, and Sunstreaker. And basically, he is the brother of Sideswipe, and he's all about his looks and like being handsome and all that stuff. He's also the owner of Bob, and pretty much he's like a chill guy. So yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus Star. Alright. Next we have another character that I don't know about, which is Sure Shot. So yeah, I'm just gonna add him down here. Alright. And then next up we have 10, which I love 10. He's honestly he's a mess, but he's trying his best, and he can only, for the longest time he was only able to say 10, so that's why they called him 10, and they'd always poke fun of him, but yeah, he just wanted friends, honestly. So I love the guy. I'm adding him to Megatron Star. He kind of also reminds me of like Groot, like one of those characters, if you get what I mean. Alright. Next up we have Thunderclash, which is basically like Rodimus hates him like to no end, but honestly he's just like, he's a Chad. He's like mad nice, he's very polite and everything, but yeah, Rodimus just hates his guts. But he's a pretty cool character, so I'm gonna add him here. Alright. And then we have Tire Tread, which I don't know anything about. So I'm adding him here, because he's only a word. Alright, and then we have Toaster, which is nothing is known about him except for the fact that he is a toaster. So I'm adding him up here just because of how awesome that is. He's literally just a toaster with an Autobot logo. Alright, now we have Toxin, which literally his character was created because he was colored. I mean, he's a Chrome Dome that was colored wrong. And then everyone started loving him, so yeah, we got Toxin. And yeah, I'll add him to Rodimus Star. And next we have Trail Breaker or Trail Cutter, whatever you prefer to call him. Basically, he can like make a shield around himself, and he's like just a really like lovable guy, but he's a drunkard. I believe that's what the word is, but yeah, like he definitely gets drunk a lot, and he also ends up having like a... I'm not gonna say anything, honestly. I'll let people figure it out for themselves. Alright, so I'll add him to here. Okay. And I'm actually gonna... I'm switching that. I'm adding him there. Alright. And now we have another character that just shows up dead. And his name is Tire Tread, I believe. That's who he is. Hold on. I don't have a picture of him at all. Alright. So then he must be... Yeah, he... Tripod Deca, I believe his name is. And he's basically just dead. So yeah, just add him there. Alright. Down to the last four. Another character that just shows up dead, which is Turbine. And boop. Wave Rider, I don't know anything about. Oop. And Windblade, I actually know a lot about. And the only reason why she's on here is because in the game that came out, like it's like a, I don't know if it's a card game, it's like it's not a video game exactly, but I forget if it's like a mobile game or if it's a card game. But basically, yeah, in that universe, she was one of the members of the Lost Light. So that's the only reason why she's on here. But basically, she was a fan-created character that became the spokesperson for her, like, one of the cities of Cybertron. And she has her own like series too, and she's just like a really dope character. She's like has like the Asian aesthetic, kind of like Drift. So yeah, she's definitely a pretty interesting character, I'd say. So yeah, and she actually will go up here. And last character, which is Zeron, and I know practically nothing about him, but I do like how his face looks, because he has like a weird mouth. It's not like the normal like full mouth. He has like you know, like Hannibal Lecter's mask, like the slots along it. Basically that's what his mouth is like. And I think that's like pretty cool, so yeah. Just because of how his face be, I will add him to World Star. So yeah, that was the list, the tier maker list for Lost Light. And yeah, I knew practically no one, but I knew some characters though. And I'm definitely gonna do like more research on them because yeah, it was probably pretty boring that like I was like, oh, I don't know this character, oh, I don't know this character. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do like more like work on that because I'm probably gonna update the list. Especially since there were some characters that were even like missing for like pictures. But yeah, um, so that's that. Um, Pretty much, yeah. Um, well, thank you for watching my first video, like official video. And I'm gonna like go like um through some like channel updates or like channel info. Pretty much I'm like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm working on an iceberg tier list for Billy and Mandy, so that should be coming out somewhat soon. I'm gonna definitely try to do like more like I don't know what my channel's gonna be exactly. I'm still figuring that out, but I'm definitely gonna do more like Transformers stuff, and I'm gonna probably move the video game stuff to like a actual gaming channel if this one does well. Um, and pretty much, yeah, I have a Twitch which is RoboFreak underscore 2190. Um, I also have a Facebook um group, not group, but Facebook channel which is RoboFreak 219 Gaming. Um, or 2190 Gaming. It's gonna have the same picture as like what I have, like my little mascot, Robo Freak. And yeah, so there's that. I'm gonna work on like making a Twitter as well and an Instagram as well. Plus I'm working on a Discord. If you guys would be interested in joining that, definitely comment below, or interested in anything. And yeah, definitely comment below, and also like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill. Plus, yeah, definitely give me like critique and like what I need to work on, because I know there's a crap ton of stuff I need to work on in this. But yeah, I'll definitely try to make more videos. I've just been, to be honest, just been lazy. um but I'm definitely gonna try to get like more motivation to do like this stuff, because like I want to publish more stuff on my channel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If there's anything you guys want me to like do, cover, anything, please let me know so I can like actually do stuff that you guys would enjoy watching. And yeah, so thank you for watching this and sticking till the very end. And yeah, I'll maybe make like a Patreon, and I'll definitely add like a Ko-Fi thing, if you want to support me in that way. Which again, well, not again, but it's totally optional to do that stuff, like trust me. And I'll probably do like a Patreon eventually. And yeah, once I get better at like my stuff, which clearly I suck at it right now. And I'm I'm pretty much done for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.